So renting in itself is unstable. When you're a poor person, it doesn't feel safe. It doesn't feel, your lease feels like shackles. You feel like you're in prison. And you're just hoping that every month you can meet the terms of that prison you live in so you don't have to go outside into a worse place. When we received the notice, it made me feel helpless and panicked. You hear that person mess with your door and you open the door and there's a notice taped to your door that says you've got 30 days to leave, and you feel betrayed. You're basically furniture. You feel like you're just an appliance in this apartment that they're going to throw out and replace with an appliance that is more efficient at generating them money.
The process was pretty dehumanizing. It was pretty heartbreaking. We didn't have a babysitter that we could afford to leave the kids with at the time, so we had to bring them to court with us, and it was really difficult. Just legal terms that they throw at you that don't really make you feel very much like a person. It's about money.
You just sit there in shame in the courtroom and watch while this judge in his high tower judges all of you, and you get deemed to be unfit for housing or however they deem you, and you watch as person after person goes up there and feels like you feel worthless.
If we had an attorney with us in court, I think that we would have been better aware of our rights. We have a disabled child who at the time was having upwards of 15 to 20 seizures a day, and when we told them that, they simply just did not care.
That attorney that represented the landlord in our case also represented the landlord in several other cases that day, and though in our case we removed our things and were able to negotiate a situation that we didn't get evicted, we just ended up in debt and homeless, which somehow looks better to society, but to us was devastating. So would we have benefited from having an attorney? Like, undoubtedly we would have benefited, like just solely alone from having a person who would have listened to our story and then responded with legally what we needed to understand would have been beneficial. But having someone in court there with us to represent us I wouldn't have had to be there. If we would have been able to have an attorney, and I could not have managed finding someone that was safe to watch my children, I would not have had to been there, though I wouldn't have preferred it, and I wish I could continue to be physically present and see what's happening and be a part of it. I could have been with my kids. Like my partner said, my son, when all of this was going on, he had 15 to 20 seizures a day. We had to steal a helmet from Walmart so that he had head protection.
It's just hard to stomach all of that like you tell your landlord, hey, this is my situation, I'm gonna lose my home because my child is sick, which is no fault of ours or his own. And they're like, well, what do you want us to do about it? Don't you have family that you could ask? And we don't. We have literally nobody that can help us anymore.
It's hard to put into words. It's like permanent terror. It's a long-lasting, ever-present feeling that you're not worth having housing, that somebody can just not like you. That's all it takes. Somebody can not like what you do and throw you out.
It's not unique. There's nothing special about what happened to us. There's a million other people that happens to every day. And like, if you don't see the changes that you want made in legislation, you just have to make whatever moves that you feel like are left at your disposal to make those changes happen, because there's enough people talking about how the change needs to be made and that they're being circumvented that they have to make their voices heard somehow.
Somebody's gonna listen at some point, somehow. Whether we have to scream or not, somebody's gonna listen.